Hey, this is BJ with a very basic Bible. My wife's um phone microphone from keep wanting to say Home Depot, Best Buy. Yeah, point the camera down a little bit. Yeah, point the light away. Dude, there we go. See, it's in the reflection. Now it's not. There it is. There it's gone. All right. You think I'd get all this ready beforehand, but that's no fun. A little person on a swing right up there. A little triangle over here. Smokey the Bear. My wife, she was in a very basic Bible. We're gonna go through Ruth. Go through some of the last parts of Ruth. Okay. Probably got between I said three or four, but a while back in one of my Facebook posts, I think. Uh, well, I got between 5 and 10 more to go. I keep thinking of more and more videos and teachings. So Smokey Bear, it says Smokey Bear State Park, Capitan, New Mexico. Um, Evidently there is a my mother-in-law came to my wife's elementary school, gonna give her a gift. She couldn't make it to the party or something, or she didn't have the gift when they were at the party. I'm not sure. So she came to the elementary school. My wife is like, in kindergarten or preschool or something. She said she saw her mom come in. She kind of remembers a majestic, like it gets a big, like, ooh, there's mom. What's that in mom's hand? And her mom walks through the playground and she pulls up this stuffed bear. It's a smoky bear, little hat and pants and everything. And oh, my wife just freaked out. She still has it. Had it for like 35 years. His pants are starting to rip on the side. And when a stuffed animal has pants attached, when the pants are attached to the animal. When the pants come open, the leg comes open too. Yeah. So she likes Smokey Bear for that reason. Evidently, Smokey Bear, there was some ranger who went into the forest, I think, in New Mexico there and found a bear like trapped up in a tree during a forest fire and saved it. And they named him Hot Foot Teddy, and that turned into Smokey Bear. I sometimes call him Hot Paws McGee. None of this has anything to do with Ruth. That's okay. You can learn about me a little bit. Introduction to the New Testament. I never even read that. I got books. Got tons of books over here. My wife loves books. I got like Bible books and theology books and apologetics books. I've read a lot of them like once maybe. I hardly ever read. I'm not like those people who have stacks and stacks of books behind them and they're like, oh yeah, I read this book and that one last time and this one and this one. I read one book, just the Bible. That's it. No. All right, here we go, guys. Okay. Share screen. And boop. Right here. Then the women said to okay. Boaz took Ruth. Yes, finally. Awesome. Boaz took Ruth. Oh, I don't know where my other phone is, but I hope it didn't go off. It won't be the biggest deal. When they came together, i.e., had sex, marital relations, when they consummated the marriage, when they came together as husband and wife. So Boaz married Ruth and had sexual relations with her. See, I mean, when they had the Lord enabled her to conceive, and she bore a son. I'll look over here real quick. 1 Samuel. The Lord, yes, a book of 1 Samuel. Book of 1 Samuel. Come on. 1 Samuel. I say one because that's a number one. See, I don't say 1 Samuel first. See, 1 Samuel 1. I don't know. All right. Wait, where did it go? Oh, this is the other one. When they came together as husband and wife, the Lord enabled her to conceive. Pretty cool, huh? The Lord enabled her to conceive the first time. Look over here. Oh, I keep clicking the wrong one. Over here. There was a man from Ramathaim Zophim. Awesome name. Ramathaim Zophim in the hill country of Ephraim. His name was, there was a man from Ramathaim in the hill country of Ephraim. His name was Elkanah, son of Jeroham, son of Elihu, son of Tohu, son of Zuph, and Ephraimite. Oh, look, he's in the hill country of Ephraim. He's an Ephraimite. I mean, you know, he lives in Ephraim. He's an Ephraimite. I mean, okay, he had two wives, the first name Hannah and the second name Penina. Penina, Penina, or we'll say Penina. Okay, so Penina had children, but Hannah was childless. The man would go up from his town every year to worship and to sacrifice to the Lord of armies at Shiloh, to God, basically, where Eli's two sons, Hophni and Phinehas, were the Lord's priests. So he'd go up to Shiloh. There was no temple yet. There was no Jerusalem yet. David had yet to be anointed king. Samuel wasn't even a prophet yet. Moses died. Then you got Joshua. Joshua dies. Then you got hundreds of years of the books of the Judges. So if we go like here, Bible book list, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, they're, Genesis, God creates everything. You got Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Here's Moses, and they're wandering through the desert getting the law. Joshua, they go and they beat up all the bad guys in the land. Judges, they're trying to live in the land without a king. Sometimes they do good, sometimes they don't. It doesn't seem like the king helped much when they did have a king, but that's just Judges is just a long time of them living as okay. Ruth is the book we're studying. Okay. Ruth is during the time of the Judges, so these are like one story. Okay, so then after this, Samuel was the last of the judges. Samuel anoints David as king eventually. David is the one who defeated Jebus, which is a Jebusite city, and called it Jerusalem. David, okay. So back here, 1 Samuel, chapter 1, Samuel's not even a prophet yet. Samuel anoints David king later in Samuel's life. Then later in David's life, David defeats Jerusalem, where Jebus, and calls it Jerusalem. Where is the temple that Solomon built? Solomon is David's son. Where is the temple that Solomon built? The temple in the New Testament that all the priests and the Levites go to. And the New Testament, all the people have to go to Jerusalem for Passover. Today it's like Jerusalem, there's a temple. There's no more temple in Jerusalem, right? The temple got destroyed in Jerusalem. The Jews loved the temple. They sacrificed animals at the temple. Where's the temple? It's in Jerusalem. Who built the temple? Solomon. Solomon is David's son. David's not even around yet. Jerusalem is not around yet. So where do the people go? They don't go to the temple. They go to the tabernacle where the Ark of the Covenant is, which it seems at this point is in Shiloh, or at least the Lord's priests are in Shiloh. Okay, none of that had anything to do with Ruth, but it kind of does, because Ruth didn't know there was a temple. Ruth didn't know of a city called Jerusalem. She probably knew of a city called Jebus, where there were Jebusites that were not yet driven out. Ruth might know, like, oh, so Israel took over all this land. Remember, she's a Moabite, she's a foreigner, but she's probably heard about it. And maybe Naomi, who is an Israelite and knows all the history, we assume she knows the history. Naomi and other Israelites who know the history, there we go, I could very well told Ruth. They were very big on education. They were like, hey, Ruth, this is the history of our people. And Ruth's like, wait, so why didn't y'all take Jebus? If Joshua was told to take all the places in Israel, this nation was told to take all the lands. Why? Oh, well, that's because they were strong, they were mighty. We haven't driven them out just yet. Not just yet. Gatorade time. Okay, I gotta wash it down so I don't rot my teeth out. Yes, Gatorade hurt your teeth big time. All right. So we got this timeline here, right? Ruth, she didn't know a temple. She didn't know you're supposed to go to a temple and give sacrifices. She knew that you could bring sacrifices to the tabernacle, right? To the altar at the tabernacle, which is a tent. The tabernacle's a there's a giant wall of like animal skin. And then inside this giant wall, there's a smaller tent. All sorts of people could walk around in this wall, but then in a smaller tent, only the priest went in. The altar is somewhere inside the between the wall and the tent, and you bring your sacrifices there. It's kind of like a temple, but with animal skins and wooden poles overlaid with gold, instead of a temple that's like completely wood, completely overlaid with gold, like a building, not just animal skins. All right, guys, I'm talking a lot and not looking much at the Bible. Let's go back to it. All right. When Elkanah offered a sacrifice, he always gave portions of the meat to his wife. When you sacrificed, you gave God a lot of the meat. You got to keep some of it. The priest got some of it. Pretty cool, huh? Penina into each of his sons and daughters, but he gave a double portion of the meat. He gave a double portion to Hannah, for he loved her, even though the Lord had kept her from conceiving. I knew that she hadn't conceived a kid. I knew that. Oops. No. Quit that. Oops. X close. Hey, oh. I knew. Okay, X. I knew that God, I knew she hadn't conceived and that God's going to miraculously make her conceive. But I didn't even know, I didn't remember this phrase. The Lord had kept Hannah from conceiving. So her husband would give her a double portion of all the meat and stuff. But the Lord over here, what'd you say? The Lord enabled Ruth to conceive. And Ruth bore a son. Okay, let's see. Year after, I'm going to read kind of quick now. Year after year, when she went up to the Lord's house, the tabernacle, the place with the Ark of the Covenant, okay, probably in Shiloh, year after year, her rival, Hannah's rival, Penina, taunted her in this way. Hannah would weep and would not eat. Hannah, why are you crying? Her husband Elkanah would ask, why won't you eat? Why are you troubled? And I'm not better to you than 10 sons? On one occasion, Hannah got up after they ate and drank at Shiloh. The priest Eli, what's up here? Eli's 2 sons, okay. The priest Eli was sitting on a chair by the doorpost of the Lord's temple. The Lord's temple. Now, I just got done saying there was no temple, right? There was not the temple at Jerusalem. You just have to trust me on that. We could go look up everything, but this isn't a story. This isn't a Bible study over First Samuel. It's a Bible study on Ruth. But since I made a big deal out of it, there's no temple. Maybe, possibly, they did actually build some kind of structure and they called it a temple. Or maybe the word temple here doesn't mean an actual building, but just means a place where you go to sacrifice stuff. Like whenever I say this is my house, right? Or I could say this is my home. What's a home? Well, it's your house, it's your yard, it's your family. You got your cars in the driveway. That's your home, right? If you got a ranch, if you got a lot of land in your home. Some people, when I was in college, that was my home. The college is my home. I could say I went to the Methodist Student Center all the time. I didn't sleep there, but I spent 90% of my time there. A little more than I was at class. I did well, mostly in class. So I'm at the Methodist Student Center all the time. I could have said, this is my house. Now it's God's house, of course. So you know what I mean? I mean, I was there all the time. I was doing stuff, you know? I had clothes and food there. I would just hang out there. Um, so yeah, maybe the Lord's temple, they're talking about the area where the tabernacle is, and the tabernacle is called a temple. Maybe there's an actual building they built. We're not told, but we do know this unless God transported through time the temple that Solomon built in Jerusalem after his son David was king. I mean, this is, transported it back in time. Yeah, this isn't the same temple. I think I remember calling a guy and asking him about this, and he kind of explained it the same way I'm explaining it here. Yeah. Anyway, deeply hurt, Hannah prayed to the Lord, and with many tears, making a vow, she pleaded, Lord of armies, if you will take notice of your servant's affliction, she's talking about herself, her servant, remember and not forget me, and give your servant a son. I will, if you will take notice of your servant's affliction, if you remember and not forgive me, and if you give your servant a son, I will give him to the Lord all the days of his life, and his hair will never be cut. Why his hair is never cut? A Nazarite vow. Okay. Is she literally saying, I will make him a Nazarite? Maybe, maybe not. They didn't all have copies of the Torah that they read every day. Like I read the Bible every day. I listen to teachings about the Bible every day. More than I read it, I usually listen to teachings about it. Okay. So I got it down. I can say some of it and be like, oh, wait, did I make a mistake? Let me go make sure I say exactly what it. They didn't have that. She couldn't go and check the book. She probably wasn't like going to Torah class every day. She probably had oral traditions, audio traditions, audible people talking to each other. The moms would and dads would teach their kids. The kids would grow up to be mom and dads, they would teach their kids. They'd grow up to mom and dads, they would teach their kids. Unless they were priests, they did not have access to scrolls, to animal skins, to where they wrote this stuff down on, to tablets where they chipped it. They told each other word of mouth. So eventually, a Nazarite vow: don't let anybody cut their hair and dedicate them completely to me. Eventually, that leads to hey, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna let my kid cut his hair, which just kind of means Nazarite, or just kind of means he'll be dedicated to you. What do you do when you dedicate a son to God? You don't let him cut his hair. Oh, you don't let him eat grapes. Wait, that sounds like that Nazarite vow thing. Oh yeah, you see that's the way an oral culture works. So, so she's gonna dedicate him to God. He's not a Levite. I don't think Samuel is a Levite. He's an Ephraimite. So he's not a Levite. He's not from Leviticus. There you go. So Samuel. Yeah. That's why she can't make him a priest, but she can dedicate him to God. Okay, while she continued praying in the Lord's presence, Eli watched her mouth. Hannah was praying silently, though her lips were moving, her voice could not be heard. Eli thought she was drunk and said to her, how long are you going to be drunk? Get rid of your wine. No, my lord, Hannah replied. I am a woman with a broken heart. I haven't had any wine or beer. I've been pouring out my heart before the Lord. Don't think of me as a wicked woman. I've been praying from the depth of my anguish and resentment. Eli responded, go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant the request you've made of him. May your servant find favor with you, Hannah replied. Then Hannah went on her way. She ate and no longer looked despondent. Okay. The next morning, Elkanah and Hannah got up early to worship before the Lord. Afterward, they returned home to Ramah. Then Elkanah was intimate. They over here came together as husband and wife. Okay. They came together, okay, with his wife Hannah, and the Lord remembered her. After some time, Hannah conceived and gave birth to a son. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah. So there we go. There's a story. I gotta. Sorry, guys. My eyes getting blurred. There we go. Let's look at another one. Let's look at, what is it? We've read this before. This is a fun one. Genesis, I'm going to guess 27. Let's see. The stolen blood. Oh, it's after that. Genesis 33. It might not be that. Jacob meets. Okay, I was right. It's a little too far. Genesis 29. Jacob meets Rachel. So we got to go to the next one. All right, there it is. Okay. I saw it with my eyes real quick. Is it going back? If I hit it, So I hit it, and then I'm like, oh, it's not going back, and I hit it again. Then it goes back twice, and I go, oh no, and I hit it, and it goes forward too many times. Okay. Jacob deceived. Okay. Jacob's sons. All right, here we go. My time is complete. Give me my wife. Jacob, this guy Jacob wants his wife. Okay, they have a feast. Now Jacob gets two wives. He gets tricked into marrying the older, and so then he works some more, and he marries the younger. Works for 7 years. Hey, give me my wife. Wait, this is the older wife. So he works 7 more years, gets the younger wife. Now he got two wives. That's just the way it was. Sorry. Leah was unloved by Jacob. Rachel was loved by Jacob. Now, what that means is Rachel really liked Jacob, really liked Rachel. Jacob wanted to marry Rachel. He did love Leah in that he took care of her and he gave her sons, which they really wanted back. Women wanted sons, period, more than anything. Okay, and Jacob gave those to Leah, but he really, really liked Rachel. Okay, let's see. When the Lord saw that Leah, right here, when the Lord saw that Leah was neglected, he opened her womb. But Rachel was unable to conceive. Leah conceived, gave birth to a son, named him Reuben, for she said, the Lord has seen my affliction. Surely my husband will love me now. She conceived again, gave birth to a son, said, the Lord heard that I am neglected and has given me this son also. So she named him Simeon. She conceived again, gave birth to a son. And all this, he opened her womb. When the Lord saw Leah, the Lord opened her womb. At last, my husband will become attached to me because I have borne 3 sons to him. Therefore, he was named Levi. And she conceived again 4th time, gave birth to a son, and said, this time I will praise the Lord. Therefore, she named him Judah. Then Leah stopped having children. Okay. So did God close the womb? Yeah, she just stopped having children. When Rachel saw that she was not bearing Jacob any children, she envied her sister. Okay, let's just give me sons or I will die, she said to Jacob. Jacob became angry with Rachel and said, am I in the place of God? He has withheld offspring from you. Okay, they believe it's God. God's in charge of everything. Over here, the Lord enabled her to conceive. That's what they think too. Jacob and Rachel and Leah. Okay. Then Rachel said, here's my maid Bilhah. Go sleep with her. This is how bad they wanted children. They would do bad things because they wanted children badly. That's pretty good. Bad things badly. Okay. Okay, go sleep with her and she'll bear children with me so that through her I too can build a family. So Rachel gave her slave Bilhah to Jacob as a wife. He slept with her. Bilhah conceived. It doesn't say the Lord made her conceive, does it? It just says she conceived. I assume that they think, oh, God must have let this happen or made this happen, but it doesn't tell us here in the text, right? The text is trying to, the God might have done one thing and he's trying to teach us another thing. Wait, that sounds really bad, doesn't it? Which, that sounds really bad. Do as I say, not as I do. Kind of feels that way sometimes in the Bible. God's like, I did all this stuff. Hey, now you don't do that. Kind of feels that way. Here, the word of God here, the revelation that God gave us in this Bible, it doesn't say God made her conceive, but we know God's always making other people conceive, and God's in charge of everything, and God does it all. But here, hey, she just conceived. God's hand is in it. Maybe not necessarily promoting it. You know, he'll get his ways, worked out either way. He's God. He can do that. Okay, Bilhah conceived, bore Jacob a son. Rachel said, God has vindicated me. Wait, this son is Bilhah's, but it's a son for Rachel. Yes, he has heard me and given me a son. So she named him Dan. Rachel slave Bilhah, they conceived again, bore Jacob a second son. Rachel said, in my wrestlings with God, I have wrestled with my sister and one man. Rachel's goodness. She's not your son, Rachel. He is not this, and she named him Naphtali. Naphtali is Bilhah's biological son, but Rachel's actual son, legal son, adopted son, yeah, legal son. Biology wasn't, much to them. When Leah saw she had stopped having children, she took her slave Zilpah and gave her to Jacob as a wife. Leah's slave Zilpah bore Jacob a son. Then Leah said, "What good fortune!" And she named him Gad. When Leah's son Zilpah bore Jacob a second son, Leah said, "I am happy that the woman called me happy." So she named him Asher. This is nuts. This is stupid. Okay, guys, I think you get the picture. God seemed at first. Um, let's see, actually. Okay, right here. Reuben went out during the wheat harvest. Oh, yeah, real quick. God seemed at first to be giving her Leah's sons. Then Rachel said, "I'm going to do this my own way," and got her some sons. Then Leah said, "Oh crud, I can't be having all this. I'm going to get me more sons." But the second set of sons, Leah's first four sons, they're Leah's. Rachel's first set of sons were not Rachel's. Leah's second set of sons were not Leah's biologically. Over here. Where is it at? Oh, we're reading the NABR again. Boaz took Ruth, they had bore a son. Then the women said to Naomi, "Blessed is the Lord who has not failed to provide you with a redeemer. May he become famous in Israel." The redeemer. You think the redeemer is the son? I guess. I guess so, because the son redeems. Her name was gonna die, right? Without all she had a son with two daughters. Her two sons, two daughter-in-laws. Her two sons died, leaving no grandchildren. Her husband's family name is now cut off. We talked about this in other videos in Ruth. It's cut off, right? Her sons had no sons. So your mom had you, then you have a son, then your son, no son. Uh-oh, it's cut off right there. All right. Now, through Ruth and Boaz, who is a close kin to her father, to her husband, to her husband. So Boaz is a close relative. Ruth is the daughter-in-law. Now they have a son. Blessed. Now she has a grandson. Blessed is the Lord who has not failed to provide you with a redeemer. Redeem the family line. The family line was going to die. It was as good as dead. Naomi was the last in the family line. Ruth was a daughter-in-law, but she technically wasn't family. She was daughter by marriage, right? She was an Israelite, I guess, but she couldn't have a son by herself, right? She converted to Israel to Judaism. So I guess she was as good as a Jew. Yeah. Like I said, they didn't care about race, ethnicity, biology. No. Ruth was as good as a Jew. I'm pretty certain. She moves to that land. She's pretty much renounced her old gods, which means she's adopted she's Yahweh as her God. She's living with him, you know. If she renounces her old gods, I mean, people back then weren't atheists. They didn't walk around going, "I don't have a God." That just doesn't seem like it's the way it happened. So Ruth is as good as a Jew, but Ruth can't have a baby by herself. So you find the closest kinsman possible. Who's the closest one? Some unnamed dude up here. The Redeemer then replied, so now this is the first Redeemer. This is the Redeemer that's going to give the Son, who is also a Redeemer. "I cannot exercise my right of redemption. You do it." Remember, the Redeemer tells Boaz, "You be the Redeemer." And Boaz said, "Hey, I'll be the Redeemer. Look at this. Acquire it for yourself." Boaz said to the elders of the people, "You are witnesses today that I have acquired from Naomi all the holdings of Elimelech, Chilion, and Malion. I also required Ruth the Moabite, the widow, as my wife." Why? He redeemed the family. How? He's going to raise up a family for her late husband on the estate. How's he going to raise up a family? Give her a son who will also be a redeemer. Boaz is Boaz redeems the family by giving the son. The son redeems the family by carrying on the family line and giving more sons, which carry on the family line further. It's pretty cool. Multiple redeemers. Yeah, yeah. Kind of a technical term, the kinsman redeemer. And then kind of the general example of like, oh no, this was gonna die out and go away. You saved us. You're a redeemer. Pretty cool, huh? Where is it at? Oh yeah. Provide you with a redeemer. Maybe he become famous in Israel. Okay, real quick. He will restore your life and be the support of your old age because when she gets old, the son takes care of her. So yeah. For his mother is a daughter-in-law who loves you. The daughter-in-law loves you. Ruth loves Naomi. Okay, so how are they reasoning? Your son will be a support for you in your old age. How do we know that? Ruth loves you. So her son is going to love you. Ruth is going to make sure the son takes care of you, Naomi. Don't worry. Yeah, I agree. That's probably what happened. She, that is Ruth, is worth more to you than 7 sons. Okay, here we go. Naomi took the boy, cradled him against her breast, and cared for him. So she took him. She's going to be like the babysitter, the nanny. She's the grandmother. The neighbor women join the celebration. They're so happy. They're celebrating. A son has been born to Ruth. Naomi. Naomi didn't have a son. Naomi had 2 sons and they died. All she's got now is a daughter-in-law. Hey, real quick, I got to look at this. Let me see. All right, there's Epi. I want to let y'all know. Yeah, I'm putting these in for us as a trial run. Okay, okay. Epi is the name of my boss. He sent me a phone message saying we're going to do X, Y, and Z at the church. Because, yes, I am a janitor at my church. Uh, Facilities specialist is what they call us. Because janitor, that's not, no, you're not a janitor. I am. I love being a janitor. I tell people I'm just a janitor. They go, you're not just a janitor. And I'm like, hey, I know I'm not just a janitor because if I wasn't here, your toilets would not get scrubbed. Your trash would not get taken out. This place would be filthy without me. You'd have to set up every table and chair all by yourself. I am one important guy. I love it whenever people are like, no, don't call yourself a janitor. And I'm like, dude, I am might be the most important person here. And I explain it that way. And like, oh, your trash would be overflowing. You would have to get up and take it out, otherwise, oh. Anyway, okay, I'll read that by my boss. I'll read that later. Yeah, Epi. His name was Epimino Chavez the Third. Pretty cool, huh? He just had a son, Epimino Chavez the Fourth. Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, speaking of having a son, here we go. He didn't have multiple wives and get his maid pregnant. He did none of that. None. Epi didn't. No, no, no. Epi had one wife. She had a miscarriage or 2 or 3, but now they have a baby. Yeah, buddy. Epimino Chavez the Fourth. So if the fourth is IV, you could call him Chavezev. Yeah. Sometimes his name is abbreviated Epi C, and it says Epic. Yeah. Anyway, back to the Bible story. A son has been born to Naomi. The matriarch of the family right now is Naomi. The head of the family is Naomi. Her husband dies. All she's got is her daughter-in-law. They go back. Who's in charge of this little 2-person cohort? Would be Naomi. She's the elder. It's normally men, but you got no men. It just like it's normally your son. What happens when you got no sons, right? God made a provision to where the daughters could carry it along. We read that in Numbers. Okay, what happens when your sons die? Oh, you can get a closer redeemer to have a son. Okay, so they try to do everything straight down, but sometimes circumstances forbid it. The circumstance here forbids a man being in charge because it was just Naomi and Ruth. So Naomi, she's a matriarch. Now you got Boaz. And probably, he was at least the redeemer, right? He's got his own family somewhere, back somewhere, right? Yeah. He's at least the Redeemer. Gave them a son. To us, that's really weird. If I die, my brother has sex with my wife and she has a baby, and then my brother goes, okay, see you later, wife. See you later, BJ's wife. He goes back to his family, loves his family, has sex with his wife, has more kids. My wife's over here by herself with a son. That'd be strange. We'd be like, no, you can't do that. That's not Christian. That's nasty. That's what they did back then. I'd take it up with God. He let it happen here. And he seems like it's presenting it positively. So it was a different world back then. God can work through our stupid, messed up world, and God can work through their stupid, messed up world. God can do anything. A son has been born to Naomi. She was the one who had two sons who died. She got no sons. Right? What sons do you have? The sons that died. So you got no sons. Yep. Now she's got a daughter-in-law who can't pass on the family name because she's a girl. But then they find a kinsman redeemer, a close kin, a kinsman redeemer. Her and Ruth have a son. Now Naomi's family line, Elkanah's family name, continues. It might as well be Ruth's son because her family name is going. I'm sorry, Naomi's. It might as well be Naomi's son. It's the one who the family name goes through. So this isn't literal. A son has literally, biologically been born to Naomi. That didn't happen. This isn't saying, wait a minute. So really, it was talking about Ruth this, Ruth that. Oh, I see. Really, Naomi's, yeah, slipped in there. No, it's not. Jacob was tricked into marrying marrying Leah instead of Rachel. And then later he found out, what? That's Leah, not Rachel. Okay, that's not what happened here. Okay, I'm very sure. I'm pretty certain of it. Yeah. So all that explanation, they named him Obed. They named the dude Obed. Obed was the father of Jesse. Jesse, the father of David. King David. We were talking about David a while ago, right? Yeah. David is a super important guy, which probably is why this story made it into the Bible. The story of Ruth. So we've read too about God opening the womb, closing the womb, right? I'm going to type womb. Let's see what happens. Let's look and see if this is more prevalent. For it was Psalm 139. For it was you who created my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. God puts together people in the womb. Right? Oh, hey, this is fun. From there, Abraham traveled to the region of the Negev and settled between Kadesh and Shur. While he was staying in Gerar, all these, traveled in Negev, settled between Kadesh and Shur while staying in Gerar. It's like, could you just tell us one place? BJ went to Texas. That's between Oklahoma and Louisiana. When he was staying in Houston, it's like, wait, just when BJ went to Houston, Okay. Abraham said about his wife, she is my sister. So King Abimelech of Gerar had Sarah brought to him. Abraham's like, oh, Sarah, she's not my wife, she's my sister. And the king Abimelech's like, okay, Sarah, you coming with me. But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, you are about to die because of the woman you have taken, for she is a married woman. Yikes. Now Abimelech had not approached Sarah. So he said, Lord, would you destroy a nation? A nation, like, if you destroy the king, then the nation disperses. It's kind of like Naomi is the matriarch, even though there's Boaz, there's Ruth, right? There's Ruth's son, but Naomi, right? Okay. Would you destroy a nation even though it is innocent? Didn't he, that is Abraham. So Abimelech's talking to God. Look, I'm innocent. I'm innocent. Didn't Abraham himself tell me she is my sister? She herself said, he is my brother. I did this with a clear conscience and clean hands. Please, God, don't kill me. Then God said to him in a dream, yes, I know that you did this with a clear conscience. I have also kept you from sinning against me. Okay, therefore I've not let you touch her. Good. Now return the man's wife, for he's a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you will live. But if you do not return her, know that you will certainly die, you and all who are yours. Early in the morning, early, he woke up like he got up right then and said, "Wait." He looked at his little sundial on his wrist. No, I'm like looking, like, "Hey, get up! The sun's not. I don't care. It's early." Abimelech got up early in the morning, called his servants together, and personally told them all these things, and the men were terrified. We're almost. Oh, here it is, 17. Okay, I'll just read the whole story. Then Abimelech called Abraham in and said to him, what have you done to us? How did I sin against you that you have brought such enormous guilt on me and all my kingdom? You have done these things that should never be done. Abimelech also asked Abraham, what made you do this? Abraham replied, I thought there's absolutely no fear of God in this place. They will kill me because of my wife. That's a really low view of the place, but maybe Abraham's just being realistic. Okay. There's no view of God. Y'all don't care about God. You're going to kill me. Okay. Besides, she really is my sister, the daughter of my father, though not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife. Like a half sister, that's kind of weird. I don't know. I got away. Hey, it was a different time. So when God had me wander from my father's house, I said to her, show your loyal to me wherever we go, and say about me, he's my brother. Okay. The reason they're going to kill him is because evidently Sarah was very pretty. Okay, she was really old, but it seems God was like, hey, you might be old, but I'm going to make you beautiful anyway. Well, what would happen to really pretty girls? Kings would see them and go, that's a pretty girl, and would take her. If the king wanted something, he took it. So, what's going to happen to the husband? If you go to a place where nobody fears God and the king just does whatever he wants, and the king's like, I don't care, I'm ruthless. God, oh hey, that man's wife is hot. Hey, bring her to me. Oh, the man doesn't want it. Okay, go kill the man. Yeah, too bad. Oh, maybe I'll feed his kids. No, I'll get rid of them too. That's kind of what Abraham's thinking. Abraham's like, hey, say you're my sister to save all of us. Well, then what happens? Abimelech takes the sister, fixing to have sex with her or something. Uh-oh. Come on, Abraham. Okay. Abimelech took flocks and herds and male and female slaves, gave them to Abraham. Okay, cool. And returned his wife Sarah to him. Abimelech said, so Abimelech's being good. Abimelech's trying to probably scared of God, probably like, look, God, I promise to do with a clear conscience pay, just in case. Look how good I'm being to Abraham. Okay, we're almost to the important part. Abimelech said, look, my land is before you. Settle wherever you want. And he said to Sarah, look, I'm giving your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. It is a verification of your honor. Like I didn't sleep with you, right? And she goes, no, okay, just to verify it, 1,000 pieces of silver. Why is that a verification? I don't know, but it is. Like, hey, you're still a virgin, right? Here's 1,000 pieces of silver. That verifies that I'm telling the truth. I guess. You are fully vindicated. So she's good. She has not done anything wrong. Then Abraham, okay, so after all this, then Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelech. Oh, okay. So God did something. God didn't let Abimelech touch her, it said, right? God healed Abimelech, Abimelech's wife, Abimelech's female slaves, female. God healed Abimelech, his wife, and his female slaves so that they could bear children. For the Lord had completely closed all the wombs in Abimelech's household on account of Sarah, Abraham's wife. Okay, so even if Abimelech had done the deed with her, well, one way the Lord afflicted everyone, Abimelech said, are you going to destroy a nation? Abimelech, maybe he knew that his wife and his female servants couldn't conceive. I mean, this didn't happen overnight. They walk in to a gate of they go to a country and people see him. They walk into the city where Abimelech is, and Abimelech says, "That's your sister?" Abraham says, "Yep." "Okay, come with me." And that very night, God shows up in a dream. I mean, it could have happened that fast. Let me see. It said in a dream by night. Could have happened that fast. Could have been a lot time later. Often you would get in the Bible, I've noticed, you get a lady and they get all dolled up and go through a beauty treatment that could take days and weeks and months before they approach the king to sleep with her. That happened to Esther. Okay. That happened to whenever you caught women in war, God said, let the women mourn for X amount of days. They're gonna shave their hair, which is kind of strange, but I mean, I guess shave their hair, cut their nails, and they mourn for a few months, a month, something like that. Then you could take the lady who's captured in war. Then, if she wants to become your wife and you want her as a wife, then you could take her, let her. Okay, so you give them a while. So maybe this is like, Sarah gets taken to the king's harem. They call it a harem. I got a stash of food. People have a stash of video games, stash of movies, stash of women. What? Yes, a stash of women. Okay, that's a harem. That's what it is. Sarah's probably a neighbor and Abimelech's harem for a while, right? 1 second. All this talk of harem making me water to wash it down. Um, this is the hard stuff to talk about in Sunday school. People are like, no, that's not in the Bible. That's not my God. And I'm like, let's just read it. I dare you. You know, this last week in Sunday school, they were like, I am the light of the world. What does that mean to y'all? And I said, so in the Old Testament about light and dark, and I said, dark is whenever bad people do stuff, light is whenever good people do stuff. And I gave the example. I said, there's a law in the Old Testament. If during the day someone breaks in your house and you kill them out of self-defense, you get in trouble. You get the death penalty because it's daylight. But at night, someone comes in your house, you don't know who they are, and you kill them. It doesn't necessarily mean you're not guilty. I mean that you didn't do something wrong, but you're innocent because you can't see anything because it's dark, right? Only bad people are going to go into a person's house at dark. You're trying to protect your family. It's dark. You can't see anything. Bad stuff happens in the dark. So you get the benefit of the doubt. But if it's daylight, so I'm giving this like story to my Sunday school class, and they're like, because I'm talking and looking around at each other like, wait, he just said that if somebody breaks in your house at night, you can kill them and not get wait, if somebody people kill each other in their house in daylight, wait, what's going on? Wait, God lets people kill each other? Wait, what? Yeah. I mean, I go to a church with a lot of softies. You know, a lot of softies. I'm stupid. That's that's the dumbest thing. I don't know. A lot of softies. Okay. The Lord had completely closed all the wombs in Abimelech's household on account of Sarah, Abraham's wife. So maybe they were like, man, I noticed, we're our slaves and haven't been having kids. And Abimelech's wife hasn't had a kid in a while. And somebody said, well, they're like, you could just hear the gossip. Well, Abimelech, there's something wrong with him. God healed Abimelech. Maybe he had, I don't know, something wrong with his man parts, right? God heals him though, and he heals the wombs. He's the one in control of the wombs. Okay. The Lord said, two nations are in your womb. Oh, that's Jacob and Esau. Okay. Yeah, yeah. 25, 23. 25, 24. When time came to give birth, there were indeed twins. Yep, yep. Oh, hey, we were just talking about Jacob. When the Lord saw Leah was neglected, he opened her womb, but Rachel was unable to conceive. There we go. 29. And then chapter 30. Then God remembered Rachel. He listened to her and opened her womb. Okay, so God's like, okay, Rachel, you're right. I care for you. 1 second. Sorry. Okay, I see a story here that I thought was in the Bible, but I was like, is it? And I see it there. I'm going to read it later. Not now. All right, all right, all right. Do, 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 do. Okay, I'm looking at womb real quick. The first one in the womb comes out of his mother's womb. Naked, I came from my mother's womb. That's true. That's true. Why was I not stillborn? Why didn't I die as I came from the womb? Basically saying, God, why did you even let me live? What happened to Job? All his stuff is taken from him. All his family is taken from him. All his materials, everything's taken from him. His friends leave him. His wife is there, and she says, are you going to keep holding on to your honor? Curse God and die. Come on, wife. The one thing that God leaves is the thing that God that should be promoting Job the most. His wife. His wife should have Job's wife should have his back. And then what does she say? She tells him to curse God. She says, curse God and die. Is she saying like just kill yourself? Or is she saying curse God that God would die? Either way, bad advice. Right here. I wish I had. Oh, why did you bring me out of the womb, God? Why did you bring me out of the womb? I should have died, never been seen. I wish I'd never existed, but had been carried from the womb to the tomb or the grave. Okay. Yeah, did not the one who made me in the womb also make them? So I mean, God's the one who is. He's in charge of the womb. He's the one who lets people conceive and such. I'm gonna look a little quicker. Giving you birth, have been given from my mother's womb, brought me from the womb. That we could go straight from the womb. They go straight from the womb. Yeah, yeah. Took me from my mother's womb. My praise is always about you. Oh, but he's praising. Okay, it's from the womb. You knit me together in my mother's womb. So you can, I mean, God, it seems, is in charge of the womb. I'm going to say conceive. Me and my I before E, except after she, and a lot of other stuff. Yeah, Enoch, Sarah was unable to conceive. She did not have a child, and God was like, Sarah and Abraham, trust me, you're gonna have a child. You know the whole thing with the the whole thing with Rachel and Leah? Oh, I'm not having kids. Here, take my servant. Abraham and Sarah do that. God promises Abraham and Sarah, you will have a son. You two. Abraham and Sarah, you two together will have a son. What happens? Sarah gives Abraham a servant. They get it on, they have a son. It's like, come on, just trust God. God comes to them and says, this year, next time, you will have a son. Oh, God comes and says, this year, next time. So no more waiting. Abraham's like, but what about Ishmael? Long live Ishmael. Ishmael's a son that Abraham had with the slave. Long live Ishmael. And God's like, no, you and Sarah will actually have a son. And they did. And he's like, look, I'm promising you. Would you please just believe me? Go forward, go forward. Okay. Hannah conceived. I'm trying to find one a little later than I guess we looked at one in First Samuel. Because Job is way back. No, he slept with his wife, and she conceived and gave birth to a son. So he named him Beriah because there had been misfortune in his home. I guess Beriah means problem or maybe misfortune, calamity in the house. Okay. When I was sinful, my mother could see some young women. There, your mother she conceived you. She conceived. I was then intimate with the prophetess. Isaiah is told that the Lord will give you a sign. The virgin will conceive, have a son, and name him Emmanuel. Okay, this is a prophet about what Isaiah did here. I was intimate with the prophetess. She conceived, gave birth to a son. That would be God's doing. But also, this prophecy goes to Mary and Jesus having a son. Double prophecy. It seems like it's doubly fulfilled. It might not be this up here might only be Jesus. And this down here is not what's prophesied in 7:14, or 7:14 could be prophesying both. But either way, if a prophet, Isaiah, goes to a prophetess and has a son, and they happen to they get it on. You got people being intimate with each other, not having sons all over the place. But here, they're intimate once and they have a son. Two prophets. It's going to be a sign from God. The Lord said to Isaiah, name him Maher-shalal Hashbaz. So even God's taught. So yeah, this is definitely from God. This is from God. I mean, you know, you will conceive chaff. You will give birth to stubble. you you're going to be in trouble if you conceive chaff. Chaff is useless and it blows away. The wind just blows away and is gone. You can't eat it. It's pointless. It's like husks on the ear of a corn. What do? You take the husks off, you throw them away, you eat the corn. What do you do with the chaff? The chaff was really light. They would throw the wheat and the chaff in the air and the chaff would blow away. God's like, hey, you'll give birth to stubble. Stubble's good for burning. You burn stubble. I mean, yeah. I was deprived of my children, unable to conceive. I think we got it. Look at this. She conceived and bore a son. Okay, so Gomer conceived and bore a son to Hosea. That's pretty cool. She conceived again, and that God was all over this. And Hosea, God's like, hey, go marry a prostitute. You're gonna have kids with her. And Hosea says, okay. Hosea does it. She has kids, just like God says. And God says, name the kids these certain things because they're signs to Israel. So I mean, God is in the process of conceiving conception. You know, I don't have kids with my wife. Okay, God, you don't want me to have kids. If I have kids, then I'll have them. But for now, okay, God. The Lord has not failed to provide you today with a redeemer. Yeah. Okay. Naomi took credit and carried the name of a son has been born to Naomi. Just like the son wasn't born to Zilpah, but to which one was it? Rachel or Leah? Here, I'm going to type in Zilpah. There's Bilhah and Zilpah. Those are the two maidservants of Rachel and Leah. Zilpah to his daughter Leah. Okay, so Zilpah was with Leah. Bilhah was with Rachel. When Zilpah had a son, it wasn't Leah's son. It wasn't Zilpah's son. It was Leah's son. When Bilhah had a son, it wasn't Bilhah's son. It was Rachel's son. Okay, just like I talked about Sarah and Abraham. Sarah was like, "Oh no, we're not having sons, even though God promised me." Um, Hagar is the name of the servant that Abraham slept with. Abraham had a son named Ishmael. Ishmael was Sarah's son. In that story, though, God lets Hagar and Ishmael stay together. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. A son has been born to Naomi. No, I was born to Ruth. It's obviously Ruth's son. Ruth's going to care, but Naomi would care for it. Ruth is out working in the field and stuff. Eventually, the son will grow up and he'll actually do real work, not just go pick up chaff behind chaff, not just go glean behind people. We talked about gleaning earlier, yeah, a long time ago, another video. They named the son Obed. Pretty cool. Oh, hey, here we go. Then Naomi took the child and laid him in her lap and became his nurse. Okay, became a nurse. She's like the nurse. There's a man. We're getting kind of late on time, but real quick, Moses, Exodus 4, enter. Miraculous sign. Okay. Exodus 1. Israel oppressed. The king of Egypt said to the midwives, okay, so they're trying to have kids. Pharaoh then commanded all his people, you must throw every son born to the Hebrews into the Nile, but let every daughter live. Now, a man from the family of Levi married a Levite woman. The woman became pregnant and gave birth to a son, and she saw that he was beautiful. She hid him for 3 months. But when she could no longer hide him, she got a papyrus basket for him and coated it with asphalt and pitch. She placed the child in the basket, set the basket among the reeds in the bank of the Nile. Then the boy's sister, because all the sons are supposed to be thrown, but not the daughters. The sister stood at a distance sort of see what would happen. Pharaoh's daughter went down to bathe at the Nile, where the servant girls walked along the riverbank. She saw the basket among the reeds, sent her slave girl, took it, opened it, and saw him, the child. And there he was, a little boy crying. She felt sorry for him. She felt sorry for him and said, this is one of the Hebrew boys. She knew it's one of the Hebrew boys, but she felt sorry for him. Then his sister said to Pharaoh's daughter, so his sister must have been right there. Maybe she ran up to her like, oh, crap. Or, okay, should I go and call a Hebrew woman who is nursing to nurse the boy for you? Go, Pharaoh told her daughter. So the girl went and called the boy's mother. Okay, so this is Moses, right? Okay. Right here. She named him Moses because she said, I drew him out of the water. Yeah, Pharaoh's daughter said, go, take this child and nurse him for me, and I will pay you for your wages. So the woman took the boy and nursed him. She has a son. She hides him. She puts him in the river. Pharaoh's daughter finds him. This might have all been planned out. She might have been like, hey, there's Pharaoh's daughter. I'm just going to push it over there and hopefully he'll live. And Pharaoh's daughter, and they were like, when that happens, you go and say, hey, I know someone who's nursing, lactating, giving milk. Why? She just had a baby. Moses' mom is nursing. Moses' sister is like, I know a lady who's nursing. That's pretty cool. Huh? Sorry. My arm itches. I'm like itching it on the. That's pretty cool. She said, I drew him out of the water. She's going to be his nursemaid. So over here, then Naomi took the child and laid him in her lap and became his nurse. Pretty cool. It says Naomi became his nurse, but Naomi wouldn't have been lactating, producing milk from her breasticles. Naomi wouldn't have been giving milk. But Naomi probably took care of her throughout the day. Maybe God miraculously. I don't know. Ruth probably fed the baby when she was home. But Ruth was also out probably collecting grain and stuff still because they had to eat. So I think I have heard that like biologically, like your body goes, oh hey, there's a baby. Oh hey, I should do something. Oh my, and starts just kind of producing milk, you know. That could have happened to Naomi, I guess, you know. Who knows? Either way, Naomi took care of her. Naomi's got someone to carry on the family line. Pretty cool. And everybody's excited. Naomi has a son. The women join the celebration. Pretty cool. All right, guys. Pray real quick and then we'll be on our way. Dear Lord, thank you for being so good to us. Thank you for being so wonderful, so kind, and in crazy situations, you still provide for us. You still provide for us. And even things we do that we don't see as wrong but might be, or things we might see as wrong but aren't, or we're just in situations where we're like, what we're confused. Thank you, Lord, for being good to us. Thank you, Jesus, for being our example and dying and rising for us. You're wonderful and we love you. Amen. We'll see y'all on the next very basic Bible.